the net effect of workplace wellbeing programs is nil. It doesn't have an effect. And in fact, in a lot of cases, can make people's well-being worse. And when you dig
Mm.
into that, it's because it's pointing out that there's a problem and then subtly or even explicitly blaming them for the problem. You're not being mindful enough. You're not doing enough of.
Yeah.
And look, when you look at what these workplace wellbeing programs were comprised of, some of them were really well thought out, well articulated, evidence-based programs like the stuff I do, and some of them were just like, lunchtime yoga or like a juice bar or whatever it is, So there's definitely a spectrum of less and more effective programs. But that really made me stop and think. And so I went on a deep dive in the research and looked at, well, what does actually move the needle on that? And it turns out it's both. It's both the individual programs that give people actionable evidence-based tools, but also looking at systemic factors, how much control people have over their work. I mean, excessive workloads is a risk factor, but it
Yeah.
turns out that that's not actually a big problem as long as people have control over when and how they do their work and recognition from leaders. So if you have a high workload, but you're able to do that in a flexible way and take time for yourself when you need it and also getting recognized for the work that you're doing, that means that excessive workload isn't as much of a risk factor as it is if you don't have any control and no one's recognizing you. That's burnout territory. And so it's really about balancing up, to answer your question, really balancing up both of those things.
Yeah.
How do we empower people with the tools and skills and strategies that they need to manage their own well-being? And how do we also take a look at organizations and how things are structured and, everything down to reporting and remuneration and organizational structure. And when you look at both sides of that coin, that's when you're really doing good work.